So this is SMB208. When was the first reInvent? What year was the first reInvent? You know? 8 years ago? 2008, that's close. 2012 was the first one. 2012, so that means this is number 12. It's a special one. Here's the deal. We have 25% of our customer are small and medium business. We call them mid-sized enterprise, commercial customers. 25%. There's never been an SMB session. This is the first year that we've introduced an SMB session. So for those of you that fit the mold of a mid-sized enterprise, this is your session. And by the way, this is the first of 16 sessions. So the feedback we've heard from our customer is that they want to hear use cases that are specific to their business. So hopefully for those of you that are here, that'll fit the bill. Having said that, I am Frank Noel. I'm a solution architect leader in the Commercial East organization. The question I get a lot is, what's a solution architect? What do solution architects do? And I'll give you a quick overview of what we do because it's really important. Number one, solutions architects are highly technical. And you'll be able to find some of them in the expert corner. I'll challenge you to ask them the tough questions. They really know about the cloud. The other thing is, as solution architects, they work backwards from customer challenges. And that's really important because they're not driven by closing sales or opportunities. It's all about the long term. And then finally, solutions architect builders. They build along with customers. They experiment, right? So this is a team that we are part of, but today, we are here to talk to you about modernization. Now picture this. You're a mid-sized enterprise. And you're looking at the landscape that's moving very fast, breakneck speed, transformation. And you're asking yourself, am I going to be relevant? Am I going to be competitive? And what we found out is modernization has been the answer for many of our customers. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, I'm thrilled to be joined on this panel with a customer. And this is something that we want to hear the voice of the customer. So I'll set it up for Mark to come in and talk about his real use case, which is really important. Having said that, let's move on. The pillars to modernization fall around 3 different areas. Technology. Now, a successful modernization starts with a business outcome and then focus on the technology. And that's really important to go in the right order. The next one is about ops and governance. And that really means that you want to build automation at scale. You want to automate everything you can, and you're going to be able to grow your organization exponentially as you do that. But the focus of today is on people, the human aspect of modernization, which is probably the most important thing. And why is it special for mid-sized enterprise? Because there are some challenges that are very unique that may not exist in a large enterprise. Number one is around talent acquisition and development. That is the number one, but we survey our customer issue that has surfaced from our customers. How do I keep my employees engaged? Number two is around having the right culture. Now, having said that, the risk-averse culture is not necessarily specific to a mid-sized enterprise. It's really about having that culture of experimentation, being comfortable experimenting and trying new things, and having a culture that allows for that. The last aspect is around tech overwhelm. That it may be an issue for mid-sized enterprise. Essentially, it's about chasing the shiny objects. We all know about Gen AI. We have a lot of customers that overly focus on technology, chasing Gen AI. What we recommend is looking at the strategy, from the strategy moving to the use case, and from the use case, moving to the technology. Having said that, you might have done everything right, but at this point, what I want to share is what Mark has done in terms of being successful in modernization at JobTarget. So Mark, go for it, man.
Thank you very much, Frank. So my name is Mark Areta. I am the Chief Technology Officer over at JobTarget. And JobTarget is a recruiting platform. We connect employers to apps and systems so that they can better manage their job descriptions, their job advertisements, find the right job seekers and then shepherd them through the hiring process. And our most popular product is our programmatic advertising product. So we use machine learning models and millions of signals to manage these advertising campaigns so that our customers get the best talent for the most economical price. So I thought instead of talking about a story and then telling results, I thought I'd turn it backwards so that hopefully people who are out there would pay attention. Because I do think that the results that we achieved are something that everyone can achieve. So over the last 24 months, we went from a code deployments that required 2 weeks of prep and a 4-hour outage to 8 to 10 daily deployments. We increased our ability to deliver by 8,000%, and we had routines that used to run for 20 hours now take 20 minutes. All of this also set up a data-centric foundation that is allowing us to use large language models and generative AI in order to push the envelope and generate and build new products. All of that happened when the company started at 100 people and is now at 400 people. But even with 400 people, we struggle. We struggle with resources. We struggle to fill in all the gaps. There's always a lot of things that we want to do, and we don't know which one is the right one that we want to tackle. And the AWS team has really leaned in, and with their customer obsessions, I really think about them as our extended team. So I put a couple of the people up here on the board behind me, and I want to talk about them for a little bit so that you guys can make sure you're getting the most out of your AWS relationship. So first is your account team. Everyone probably has an account manager that, you may think of them as a salesperson, but I think of them as my conduit into this big conglomerate that puts on this giant thing here that has a wealth of experts and experience that you can tap into that can help you solve a lot of your technical challenges when you don't know the right answer, or maybe you know the right answer and you want some validation. Our account manager introduced us to 2 kinds of technical resources. The first one are the solutions architects and the specialists. So the SAs and the specialists, we engaged with them back before we even had an enterprise deal, and we were barely spending any money with AWS. This was something that AWS did out of the kindness of their heart, kind of, sort of, but maybe it was a little bit of a business plan to watch us grow. I don't know. But the specialists came in, and when we were trying to dismantle our massive database and rethink our data strategy, they spent the time to walk us through what is a purpose-built database, what is the right way to use our tools, what is the wrong way to use our tools, so that we would get the most out of it. And they went all the way down to the nitty-gritty. They didn't just say Dynamo is good for this and Aurora Postgres is good for this. They helped us map out schemas, they helped us put it all together, and then they helped us launch the product. Our enterprise support, our technical account manager is this supposed to say 20 minutes? Because it's not counting now. Sorry. Our technical account manager is our day-to-day technical helper. He is our, oh no, I need help button. My tech leads reach us out to our technical account manager at least daily, maybe hourly, maybe even more frequently than that, and they're just scared to tell me because I feel bad for our team because we inundate him with questions. But he's willing to go and answer all of our questions, and when he doesn't know the answer, he pulls in more AWS resources so that we can get the right answer, so that we can make sure all of our big launches go quickly and smoothly and without a hitch. Beyond the technical resources, AWS also puts together workshops, and the workshops has fundamentally changed our business. Our business team went from asking what I would call rudimentary, very boring questions like, what is revenue like this month, Mark? What is our activity going to look like next month? To more targeted and data-centric questions, like our number 1 publisher is losing share, and the share is shifting to our number 3 publisher, but only for the top 10% of our customers. And do we know why? And can you hypothesize as to why that's the case? That happened because of the Gain Insights program. They had someone come out and spend 16 long, arduous hours with us. And we pulled apart our data programs, and they put together, using AWS's tools, a bunch of dashboards that allowed us to answer questions that we could previously not answer, taking months and months of analyst time and putting it all together. And then AWS has also done a lot of what I would call mutual investment via the Migration Assistance Program. So the Migration Acceleration Program. So effectively what happens is JobTarget can focus on innovation. We can focus on building the cool new things. We can focus on building large language models and our new programmatic app. And then AWS helps support our endeavors by subsidizing some of our operational costs. And that allows us to hit the next plateau and be faster and better than all of our competitors, which is important in our space, because if you think about us as an SMB, a 100 to 300 person company, we just simply can't compete with the Indeeds and the ZipRecruiters of the world, the 10,000 employee behemoths out there. But we have some very small, quick moving advantages using these programs. So a couple parting thoughts here. The first one is, you're not too small. So when we first started with AWS and we were engaging our account team, we spent almost nothing, like $1,000 a month, like literally nothing. But they still brought in solutions architects, they still brought in technical resources, and they still answered our question. I thought our little tiny drop in the bucket wasn't going to mean anything, and we were wrong. And I hope everyone else is willing to reach out to your account manager and ask for it also. The other thing to keep in mind is that we are not enterprises, so we can't be as directive or prescriptive in our asks. What I mean by that is, like with the Gain Insights program, I couldn't ask them to tailor it to our specific needs. They have a program, they have best practices, and we should really follow them. The reason for that is AWS has to make it work for many, many, many SMB customers. And the reality also is, we're not a special unicorn. Like, we don't need a very custom program. Like, they are best practices for a reason. We can still learn, and we can stand on the shoulders of the giants that came before us, and we can do better if you just pay attention and listen to what they have to say. And then the third thing is, just ask for help. You just don't know. Worst they can do is tell you no. The best they can do is say yes, and a lot of times it's going to be in the middle, which is, no, Mark, I can't give you that thing again. No, I can't do this, but maybe we can do this, and maybe we can compromise this way. But let's talk about your next project, and let's talk about how we want to keep pushing innovation, and how can AWS be our partner in that, because they really, really have been our partner. And like I said with our results, we grew 800% over the last 2 years. We went from a $10 million company to a $100 million company, and we did it on the backs of these programs and on the backs of our extended team. So, thank you.
It's amazing. Thank you, Mark. And just as a reminder, 16 sessions just for SMB. Please look up for those sessions. Thank you all.
Thank you.